Hi, it's Matt here from Go Green Autos. So you may well have seen my recent videos. You'll know I've just bought in this MG ZS EV, and I'm going to keep this one for my own vehicle. These are a cheap EV, and because they're Chinese made, there's a general assumption, I think, that these are poor quality. But you have to compare them with what else you can get for the money, and these are Renault Zoe money, and compared to a Renault Zoe you're getting so much more for your money, and these are not poor quality. The quality of the materials inside and the fit and finish is so superior to what you would get on a Renault. So I thought I'd make this video just to show in detail, particularly on the interior fit and finish. First off, these are obviously an SUV style vehicle, basically a high-rise hatchback, but yeah, it really works, and there's an awful lot of space in there. They're not particularly long, they're quite a short SUV, but they've got lots of interior space and a huge boot. I haven't checked the figures, but looking at other videos, everyone's saying that the boot is certainly larger than a Hyundai Kona, and it's even larger than a Kia e-Niro. So for your money, these are £10,000 cheaper than the Hyundai or Kia models. Obviously it's got a smaller battery pack as well, but you're getting a lot of car for your money here. So first off, you feel it with the doors. The way the doors shut is really nice thud. Certainly better than you would get on a vehicle of this money. And you know the expression that the door shut like a Golf, you know, this is very much like that. So this car is the exclusive model, top of the range model, and it comes with the leather, or should I say leatherette interior. So these seats look great, they feel great. Obviously it's not real leather, but we've got this white stitching and lots of raised sort of sections. They are quite supportive, they are very comfortable. They don't have lumbar support. I didn't think that would worry me, but actually they do really need it. But I've sat in here for a few hours now and not had an issue, so I'm fine with that. But yeah, they are very comfortable seats, and straight away the interior does feel just absolutely premium with the materials they've used. On the doors you get padded leatherette here. This section is hard plastic, but it is textured. I don't find that a problem at all, and actually in this price bracket you look at other EVs, they've all got hard plastic up here anyway. Comparing it with my Ioniq, which is a more expensive car, it is slightly padded, but hardly anything, any depresses by a millimetre if that. So it's pretty much the same, so that, you know, most modern cars are like that. This is padded, not by much, but overall I don't find the materials to be a budget at all. It is certainly on par with everything else of this price range. Then looking across to the dash is padded along the top, and we've got sort of fake stitching effect all along the top. Nice mix of materials as well, padded top, aluminium effect, but of course this is plastic, chrome around the vents, and then the same sort of hard textured plastic that you get on the doors. The air vents are nice, you've got shiny black plastic, chrome effect plastic there, but the action of that air vent really is nice. That is so smooth. The only downside, as many people have commented, is the silver ring there does reflect in your side mirror. I didn't see it as a problem, but once you see it you can't sort of unsee it, as James has said in one of his videos on YouTube, and that's very much the case. Once you see that reflection there you always notice it, but it's quite a minor thing. To be honest, I find the same on a lot of modern cars. You'll find on a lot of modern cars those air vents on the top of the dash there reflecting the windscreen, and you're looking at it all the time, particularly on a Renault Zoe. But yeah, I think the overall mix of materials is nice and classy. Some might say dull, but I think it's quite a nice premium feel to it all, to be honest. So let's just jump in the driver's side. We do have an electric seat for the driver, no memory positions, just electric movement. Yeah, it does work without the ignition on, but yeah, all works really nicely, and again, just something else to make it feel that little bit premium. The centre console's raised. I really do like the material they've used here. It's a sort of grained plastic, far better than using shiny black plastic. That does look really nice. It's a shame they haven't used it elsewhere, because that's a very nice material. We've got shiny black plastic around your gear selector and your mode switches there. Shiny black plastic around the infotainment screen. There's a shame there's quite a big bezel around the screen, but it's a minor thing. All the knobs do feel very nice, particularly the gear selector knob. All the switches do really feel quite premium, and again, better than you would get in other vehicles of this price bracket. So next we'll look at the cup holders. You've got this very nice sliding cover. Again, that feels more premium than most. It is absolutely rock solid, whereas a lot of them tend to be a little bit flimsy, and it's got a nice smooth action. Personally, I never use it. I'm using the cup holders all the time. You've got these leather sections here, obviously holding the slider. They do make the raise the center console up higher, so they make the cup holders quite deep, but it does look good. It all feels very premium, but I do find that the cup holders are too deep. I should have got a cup actually, but anyway, if you've got your standard sort of McDonald's regular coffee cup or a Costa coffee cup, the lids are down at sort of this level, and it's not that easy to pick up because they are deep. And they're quite close together, so it does fit two coffee cups side by side, but the lids tend to sort of clash in the middle, so you've got to be a bit careful. What I'm actually going to do is cut out a base, little foam block or something. I haven't found anything yet, but I'm going to put a base in the bottom to raise the cups up so they're at least at this level, and that will make it a little bit easier to use, but a very minor issue of course. And then here we've got a storage compartment. This doesn't slide at all, but it's padded and all feels really nice quality again. So next let's look at the steering wheel. A lot of EV drivers I've seen on the forums and chat and things praise the steering wheel, because the steering wheel supposedly is from a Volkswagen Golf. You know, it looks quite nice. I'm not a particular fan of it, to be honest. There's a couple of things I don't like. The position of the volume controls, you tend to use that a lot, and they're not in a particularly nice position, but you know, it's a minor thing. I'm used to the Ioniq where you have a lever, and that's just fantastic. But it feels nice in your hands. It's all leather or fake leather, but actually this does look like it is probably real leather. You've got nice stitching there. The only thing is it's not very padded. It is quite hard. And I found that this flat section, the angle was a bit wrong, and at first I didn't like it. It sort of made my hands ache, but then I found that I did have the angle set up wrong and my seat was too high, so I lowered the driver's seat and instantly it felt better. So it's not a problem at all, but it is quite hard, but still fairly nice feeling, and again fairly premium. A lot of cars at this money will have plastic steering wheels anyway. We've got switches here to control the menus in the dash, and switches here to do your infotainment and your phone. Nice little section here, black shiny plastic and silver. Again, all just looks rather good, to be honest. So let's just turn it on here. We can see the dash there. I think the dash looks great. Mixture of analog and digital. We can obviously change that screen there, change the information you get on the screen. It all looks really premium. The only thing that's not so good is your battery charge display. That's has limited information, not enough blocks. Those blocks are too high a percentage, and there's no overall percentage state of charge. We've also got a 12 volt battery display here to most people that's not really going to mean much. Actually, when my partner got in here for the first time and drove it, she said, the battery was showing at 12 volt. She said, our battery is half charged, because she was suspecting it to be at the top there. So, that's going to be misleading for most people. But if you understand what your 12 volt battery does and understand 12 volt battery charging, that's quite nice to know, particularly in the winter. If your vehicle's been sat for a while, you're going to see the state of charge of your 12 volt battery. The screen isn't the best. It's not particularly responsive. Sat-nav does take a long time to load. There you can see it didn't click first time. However, I do find the sat-nav very good once you're using it. I could put a location I tried first time, I could put a house number in, and all other sat-navs I've used doesn't give you house numbers in that particular estate I was going to, or address should I say. The way it presents the information is particularly good. A road down here is telling me to turn left at the petrol station, whereas other sat-navs, including Google Maps, just tells you to turn left. The fact that it was telling me that there was a petrol station there was just a bit more extra information confirming which junction to take. So I think the sat-nav is actually very, very good. It's just a little bit slow. But of course this has Android Auto and Apple CarPlay here anyway, so most of the time you're going to use your phone mirroring. We've got DAB radio, and then all the other information to set up your car configuration. Once you're in all these menus, it is pretty quick. As you can see, we're toggling between them pretty fast. So yeah, it's not a lot of people complain that it's quite a slow system. Once it's running, it's not slow. It's just loading up that sat-nav is quite slow in the first place. If we go to DAB radio there, there was a delay of a second or so to get into there, but once we're in there, it changes channels pretty quick, and we can get the channel list up. And this is all as quick as other systems, and the way that screen is scrolling, it's all quick enough and okay. I do just find though that the infotainment system does to me scream Chinese head unit, so that may well improve over time, but it's good enough and not a problem at all. And I'll say it again, compared to other vehicles of this class, this is as good as other vehicles, and I find the navigation system particularly good in this one. But the fact you've got Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, you're not going to get that in a lot of other vehicles. And once you're used to using your phone mirroring, this is what you use all the time anyway. The thing that's not so great is we don't have climate control. So if I just put the heating on and turn the fan down, we've got temperature here and we've got fan here. So it's just like the old-fashioned heating systems. So you can't actually tell what you're doing. So when you heat up the vehicle, you can't tell how hot you've got it, apart from obviously this display. So who knows where 20 degrees is. You put it about there, you wait 5-10 minutes until the temperature's risen in the vehicle, and then you then sort of make those fine adjustments, which isn't great for an EV because you want to obviously preserve energy and use the heater as little as possible. So with these, what you tend to find is you might get it too hot, and then you reduce it down and you've wasted energy, and you're constantly tweaking the fan. So it's not a major issue, but I really wish they did have climate control on electric vehicles. But overall, a serious amount of kit in this car. Certainly all the safety kit. If I just go here, we've got speed assist, it's got camera at the front, it's got adaptive cruise control, the radar at the front, we've got blind spot mirroring, MG Pilot, so you've got the sort of semi-autonomous driving, got lane keep. It's just got all the safety kit that you would expect. And then here we've got headlight adjuster, our adjuster for the mirrors, and they're also folding, but they fold when you lock as well. We've got some slots here, so you can put a credit card, well, 2 credit cards in there, or your charge RFID cards, which is quite nice. So we've got decent size door bins. The glove box is a decent size. We've got storage underneath. We've got this one here, but I do find this is a bit far back to be particularly useful. You have to sort of do have to twist around in your seat to get to that one. But I do find there's a lack of I do feel like there's a lack of storage. You know, for example, you know, hand gel is a must nowadays, but all these little bits in my Ioniq, I had places to put all of this stuff. Not so in here. Obviously here you would want to have your phone, and you do have a slot here where you can pull a charge cable up from the sockets underneath and plug in your phone, but I find that my phone is too wide, and if I've got the cable in there it doesn't fit that way, and you end up having it stuck out over your switches and your drive selector here, which isn't good. So a lot of the time I don't plug it in, whereas I would have plugged it in all the time previously. And there's no wireless car charger, which I don't mind because my phone doesn't have that function. But yeah, if you've got a modern phone, it could be potentially a bit tight down there. But I do find that I am sort of lacking a little bit of storage, but hey, you know, minor issue. There is storage in the car. It's just maybe I'm used to a bit more. But, you know, you can't be too critical with that. So next, let's talk about the panoramic roof, of course. And that is one thing that really does make the car feel premium. Cars at this value just don't have full-size glass roofs, and this one also tilts and slides, so we can slide it back. It's got a huge windbreak there. I've forgotten what you call that now. Anyway, that stops the sort of buffeting. It can go all the way back, and it can also tilt. If I can make it tilt, which way do you tilt it? There we go, like that. It also tilts like that. And then using the buttons inside, we can bring the sunshade across, and you can stop that at any point. That's got a lovely action on it. And this has got, I don't know whether that's aluminium or plastic, but yeah, it's all very rigid, as you can see, and that's quite taut. It all just does feel really nice. We've got wireless keys and the button on the door handles that it will lock and unlock, and our mirrors fold in as well. And in the back, not much to say. We don't have a central armrest, but 60/40 folding seats. Very nice looking seats as well. We've got USB socket there, a little pocket there, pockets on the back of the seats, decent size pockets in the door, the same materials used at the back as the front. Some cars have poorer quality material, but we've still got the padded section there. So yeah, overall still looks really nice in the back. And if you look at the back, the handle is in the badge there. That all feels nice and is dampened. I've got a sheet in here because I've had some muddy boots and some logs in the back. I won't show you exactly what's all underneath. There's lots of other videos online that show you that. In this case, I'm just sort of looking at quality of the materials. The latch here is covered with a spring-loaded bit of plastic, which is nice. Got this sort of plastic scuff plate, which is all good. The parcel shelf is dampened on a little bit of rubber there. We've got rubber on the back of the parcel shelf that the boot obviously clamps down on, so yeah, that's all good. The bits of plastic here that the parcel shelf hooks on to does feel a bit cheap. They're a bit like trim clips that you would hold door panels on with, but still doesn't matter, it does the job. It's only there as a hook. Parcel shelf is quite thin but stiff enough, does the job. It's certainly no worse than anything else. And all of it just is great. The quality of the carpets is what you'd expect. To be honest, I'm not seeing anything in the materials to scream budget at all. And when you look at the value of the car, as I've said, and you look at others, it's with the European brands, and I would suggest it's exceeding them in most of the materials. You obviously can't compare this with an Audi e-tron or Mercedes EQC or any of the more expensive products, but I was quite surprised when I got this. You know, I probably, like other people, you look at the price and you see that it's Chinese, it's made by the SIAC Motor Company. You think, yeah, that's going to be a bit cheap and nasty inside, but really it is not. It really does feel like such a lot more car inside, and it really is a nice place to sit in. So the final thing we'll just look at is the charge port at the front. Much has been said about the charge port design on these. However, I do favour charge ports at the front of vehicles rather than at the back on the sides. It's much more convenient. But on this, you push the badge to release it, and then that hinges up. This is a little bit wobbly, but then it's a huge section. It does have two supports either side. As you can see there, I've got a bit of white grease on there because I have lubricated it, because this was all getting a bit dry and stiff. The bit that's not so good is the sockets are then quite low down. We've got our Type 2 AC charging socket there, and you need to pull a rubber cap off, and then the CCS below. And the problem is when you're standing up here, it's all being obscured by this, and you've got to crouch down below this level to see what you're doing, and there's no light in there. So it'd be much better if this hinged out sideways like it does on a Kia Soul. But you know, it's a minor thing and you soon get used to it. So yeah, I'm not too worried about this, to be honest. It's the clicking of it, as you can see there, making that stick. I don't know whether it's just mine, but there, that's fixed now. I do have a few issues with the click release or click to push, but that's fine. I would just say, when you lock the car, that locks the latch as well, so when the car's locked you cannot open this. So yeah, overall I'm not too worried about that, but it's just not perfect. While we're at the front here, just look at the quality of all of this plastic. There's lots of materials here in the front bumper, which makes it all look very nice, but all of this is much more solid than it is on other cars. On a lot of modern cars, you get to this lower bit, there's a lot of flex in it all, but this is just really good. The whole thing is just rock solid. The bumpers, all of it, the grille, it's all quite impressive. Overall, I really don't think the price of these should be a reflection on the quality. The fit and finish and the materials used is just really, really good. And it's just a fantastic value for money car. It's not like, let's say, the Renault Dacia brand, where they are cheaper, but you're getting cheaper materials and a cheaper build, which is fine, you get what you pay for. That's not the case here. These are cheaper, but certainly isn't a cheap feeling car at all. If anything, far superior to anything else at this price bracket. So maybe when that sort of message gets out there more, that these are well built and not budget at all in terms of quality, then they might retain a good second-hand value. It's obviously a few years away from that yet, because most of these are going to be tied up in their leases or PCP plans with the first owners. But of course, these have got a 7-year warranty on everything. That's only matched by Kia, so even when these get to 3 years old, they're still going to have just as long warranty as brand new European cars will anyway. So I think the future looks good for these. The other thing to note, of course, is that battery pack has some proper thermal management on it. They are water cooled, and they've also got a heater as well. So there should be absolutely minimal battery degradation, and of course that's going to be much better than what you would see on Nissans, for example. But of course, on many other European brands, they just have air cooling on there, for forced air cooling, should I say, on their battery pack. So being a water-cooled battery and also a heated battery, and of course, SIAC Motor Company make absolutely loads of EVs. So they should know what they're doing with the batteries and drivetrain. So I suspect that will prove to be a very reliable drivetrain, and of course it's got 7-year warranty, so they obviously have got to stand by it as well. So as you can tell, I'm mightily impressed with the quality of these cars, which is why I've kept this one for my own use. It certainly made me change my view of the MG brand, but I hadn't looked at them seriously, and probably like others, I was just assuming because they're Chinese and they're cheap that they're going to be substandard, certainly compared to European stuff, but certainly not the case. It's a shame I can't get more of these second-hand and I can retail them out then, but they just haven't been around long enough. They've only been around about a year now, so it'll be a while before these start appearing in the used market. But now that I've got this one and driving this, if they do come up, I will certainly be buying these in, because for an electric vehicle, you just can't beat these for value. So if you found this video useful, please do click that thumbs up button on YouTube. That really does help other people find this channel. And have a look at the back catalogue of videos, and I'll be doing more videos on this MG ZS EV soon. Next one will be getting it up on the ramp and having a look underneath and having a look under the bonnet.